Hey, I want to talk to you very briefly, just for a moment, about this next unit, week two, and this is a study or a discussion, basically, of the history of psychology, which is something I think you probably already have a taste of. Um, I just want to add a bit of philosophical view of this. Science doesn't come into being overnight, boom. It has a history behind it. It starts with curiosity, and then becomes investigation, and it becomes experimentation, and then it produces theories. So that's what psychology has done. It's followed in the footsteps, so to speak, or maybe it even created some with the work of Wilhelm Wundt, and prior to him, just the philosophers who had a curiosity of what's this thinking business all about? What's the mind about? It wasn't so much the brain, because they weren't very well versed in you know, physiology, but they all had that curiosity. So what do we do with this thinking business? What's this all about? There was even a time when physiology had begun to be, I don't know if discovered is a good word to use, began to be studied, and they began to name things through the work of a lot of people. And at one point in time, they thought that emotions were generated by the stomach or the spleen, or other than thinking through. So that's kind of a first layer of where this comes from. Philosophers uh, rolling into more, quote, scientific investigation, till eventually Wundt in his studies and introspection, which is very rudimentary science. Still is hard to imagine how you measure thought, but they were doing their best with what they had at the time. And then it rolled in from there to James and these people I think I've spoken to you about already. William James, Titchener, and so on and so forth, uh, where they began to dissect what was already done. These weren't theorists per se, although they could be viewed that way. They were more in just plain out and out scientists. And they looked at the aspects, the facets of this stuff. So what's the point? They're building a history. And then that gave psychology the groundwork that psychology needed to become what it is today, a modern science. Still got a lot of skeptics out there, by the way, that think that it's rubbish. But if you've ever had some difficulties in your life, I'm sure you have, and you've been able to talk to somebody about those, uh, I would say the majority of the time it made you feel better. If it didn't, it probably confused you worse. But you have a history. So the history's there. It's kind of a lurking in the background, so to speak, of how psychology is became what it is today. So I hope that kind of gives you a little feedback. And that's what this unit will be talking about. We're talking a lot about the history of psychology.